You are listening to Lovely Talks Heavy. Hello everybody, and welcome to Lovely Talks Heavy. I am your host, Lovely, and I discuss everything I enjoy with regard to heavy music. Here we are, episode 39! Only 30 more till episode 69. Today's episode is going to be another look at metal news. I'm going to do a bit of a twist on how I've been doing it before. Well, I mean, it's not going to be that much different. What I'll do is I'll have a section dedicated to new albums that have come out since my last metal news episode. That way, A, I'll be forcing myself to look at more music without having to dedicate that task to just the episodes where I look at bands that are unfamiliar to me. And B, I'll be able to give my thoughts on these new albums without dragging you through a full-on track-by-track review every time I want to give my thoughts on an album. So, let's get into this shit. So, I read on Instagram that Ensiferum are in need of a new singer/keyboardist. See, I would be right on top of that if I knew how to play keyboard. But if you, like folk metal from Finland, have some experience with touring and also playing keyboard, are willing to play keyboard full-time and commit at least 100 days a year to travel and play gigs with Ensiferum, are able to work with an ever-changing schedule and want to compose new music with motherfucking Ensiferum, then you should email your application to Ensiferum at ensiferum.com. That is Ensiferum at ensiferum.com. There's no real specifics on what the application should entail in the post, but I imagine it would look something like attaching a video of you playing the keyboard and singing an Ensiferum song, 2 of them if you're feeling really bold, also a resume of your past experience touring, and some references. It might also help if you speak Finnish, I don't know, but it just might though. Good luck to all you people out there who are chomping at the bit to join a really great band. Speaking of Ensiferum, Jari Mayenpa and his little band Wintersun are going to be touring North America for the first time in, 5-6 years? Goddamn. They'll be hitting the road for that particular tour with Niebla Viscaris and Sarah Longfield this fall. Tickets are already available, motherfuckers. You know, if I go see them perform, which I super want to, this will be the second time that I'll have seen Niebla Viscaris perform. The first time was when they were supporting Cradle of Filth on their North American tour in 2015, 16, I want to say. God, has it been that long? Anybody need a pal to go see Wintersun perform in the States? I may know somebody. So, Powerwolf came out with a new music video. My favorite German power metal boys unleashed their first single, Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend, with a music video. They were teasing it and teasing it and teasing it, and then here it is. The music video only features 2 members of Powerwolf in it, Falk Maria Schlegel and Attila Dorn. They're in a cathedral in true Powerwolf fashion. I mean, where else could they be? We have a line of nuns at the cathedral, and Attila is singing to them about demons coming out at night, ready for seduction, and then the nuns shed their lordly devotion, and then demons are a girl's best friend. The funny thing about this whole song is before we see Falk Maria Schlegel on the keyboard, we see him as like a janitor in the cathedral, like, don't mind me, I'm just here in corpse paint, sweeping the cathedral. You girls having fun having sex with those demons? Yeah? Good. Be safe. Wear a condom. You don't want to give birth to the Antichrist. The second funniest thing is that in the comments of the music video, people keep making the joke Attila porn. Like Attila Dorn, but... On top of that, they're gonna put out a second single the 22nd of June as of the moment that the script is typed out. There's no official word of what it will be yet, but I am banking on it being Fire and Forgive. Oh yeah, the album Sacrament of Sin is officially coming out this July. Mark your calendars, get your wallets out. If you haven't pre-ordered it yet, what the fuck are you doing? I have mine pre-ordered. You should be doing the same. Come on. You know I'm gonna be putting a little snippet of this great new song into this transition, right? Good, just thought you should know. Thought I would share. This is a great, amazing song. Let's look at some new music announcements that were put out recently. German rock legends Oomph are signed to Napalm Records now, one of my favorites. Woohoo! Joining my pals, my boys, Powerwolf and Ailstorm and Alien Weaponry and all these really great people. They're joining a really great record label full of really great music, I think. Napalm, one of my favorites. Anyway, they're set to release a new album in 2019. Body Count are set to record their next album, already entitled Carnivore, this September, and that's also due for a 2019 release. Hailstorm have already released their first single, Uncomfortable, from their new album Vicious, and are set to release that this July. Thank you, Lizzie Hale, my top-tier gay crush, for this. 9 Inch Nails have also put out a new song called God Break Down the Door off of the upcoming LP Bad Witch, due this June. Despite being told that they would have to interact with real people and buy their tickets in person, a lot of dates for the upcoming tour have already sold out, so good job 9 Inch Nails fans. As an added perk, though, people were given the opportunity to listen to 2 new songs from the upcoming LP, so there's that, while they were waiting in line for 9 hours the first day of ticket sales, you know. More dates have been added to this world tour since, so if you want to go see 9 Inch Nails, go to your local box office. Let's mosey on over to some new albums that have just come out now. Okay, so let's look at some new albums that have just come out in these past few weeks, starting with Prequel by Ghost. Prequel? 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 I'm gonna say Prequel. It's spelled like Prequel, so I'm gonna go with that. Anyway. This came out June 1st and was highly anticipated by me at least, and probably a million other people at this point because Ghosts are like blowing up. Already have busted a nut over the leading single Ratsa and its music video. A couple of weeks before the album's release, the band put out the next single, Dance Macabre, and they unveiled it in quite an interesting way through their Instagram story. It was a bit weird waiting for each 15-second snippet of the song to load on the story, making the experience of hearing this song for the first time quite disconnected, but it was neat seeing all these other hard rock musicians jam out to this baller tune. It ended with a clip of known lover of white wine, Philium Anselmo, saying, "This could be huge," which is coincidentally what I said in my dream last night, starring Winston Duke. I think there's a lot to love about this album, even if in my opinion it gets quite heavy on the piano instrumental, and there are some parts that are just kind of really unneeded. Aside from the singles, which I think are really good picks for leading singles, one track I really like is Faith. The way the guitar punches up moments in the song is just great. There's the beginning where you hear the and that same guitar is just put together with the end of the last chorus like, "Faith is mine." Like, just those two combined together is just really great. It's stellar, in my opinion. There's also the guitar solo after the first verse and the second verse. Gee, Faith by Ghost, why do you get 2 guitar solos? You know, some people don't even have any, and you're here just using I don't know what I'm saying right now. I also really like Witch Image, which I can easily see being a 3rd or 4th single off this record. I also liked Miasma, which is entirely instrumental, and yes, I know, the sax attack at the end of the song. Before listening to this record, I saw a review and there was specific mention of the sax, so I should have been prepared for it, but I had forgotten about it, and so I wasn't, and so when the sax finally came up in the song, I had to take a pause and laugh, because it feels so ridiculous. But at the same time, it's Ghost we're talking about. Of course it's ridiculous. That's why we love it. We should expect it. Of course, have to mention the song, See the Light. Say it with me. Ballad. But also, the Banger TV review of this album pointed out that this song was a very thinly veiled jab at former members of Ghost by the hand of Tobias Forge, because they just wanted to be fairly compensated for their work. That's worth writing a ballad basically saying, fuck you, suck my dick over, instead of, I don't know, just paying them. I felt very awkward listening to the song. Yeah, the chorus slaps, but at the same time, why, Tobias? Regardless of the bumps that this album does have, it is quite enjoyable, and I would recommend Prequel for somebody that isn't into metal. Hey, Merry Christmas, here's Prequel by Ghost. I know you don't like, I know you don't like this kind of, you don't like metal, but trust me, it's perfect. We could have something to talk about. I don't know. Next on the list is Downfall of Mankind by Nervosa, which also came out June 1st via Napalm Records, my favorite. If you love straight up thrash metal, this is an album for you. I think something that Nervosa were very clear in doing was sending a message in this album. There's lots of lyricism about personal empowerment, about overcoming abuse, about taking advantage of the right to protest to enact positive change, about begging for humanity to not repeat its past mistakes, which I thoroughly appreciate. A lot of times when you see a kind of song like this in hard rock, it just feels very shallow and like a cash grab for me at this point. It just feels like fluff, and very rarely do I see any particular problems being pointed out or anything being done about those problems by the band making the song in question. And even then, there's at least just one person in the band that is complaining about fucking social justice warriors, and it's bro, were you not the one to cover Land of Confusion by Genesis? How the hell are you gonna wanna enact positive change if you can't, take criticism ever? I'm rambling. Point being that while Nervosa don't ever get into too much detail, you can see which causes they wanna see champion more. It's kind of funny, not in a too deep of a way, that this album is quite hopeful lyrically while being titled Downfall of Mankind. There's a few moments that deviate from this thematic lyricism and also the straight-up thrashiness of the record. One of them being the intro track plus the first true track, Horror Dome. In a video where Nervosa go through this album track by track and explain what they really like about their creation, it was brought up that Horror Dome was about sleep paralysis, which I thought was really cool. So the intro track was meant to create a feeling of being in sleep paralysis, then transition into the song about sleep paralysis. Another moment is in the song Enslaved, because throughout the whole album there's just non-stop consistent blast beat drums, guitars, and bass drilling, but in Enslaved we get a bit of groove. Cultura do Estupro is another, I'm not sure, I don't speak Portuguese, but it's just because the song is in Portuguese, which is Nervosa's native language, because they're from Brazil. And then there's the bonus track, Selfish Battle, which completely deviates instrumentally from the tone of the whole album, but this just might be Nervosa trying to have a bit of fun and purposefully doing something different, as they have done on all of their records so far. Shocking, I know. I know it isn't a cover, but it feels like it could be a cover of a Judas Priest song. So, all in all, I really dig Downfall of Mankind, and really recommend that others get it for their personal music library. Follow the Ciphers' debut eponymous album is next on this list. This came out May 11th via Nuclear Blast. This is Ken Kungstrom's band, who has helped compose some of the most beloved Sabaton songs like Careless Rex. So considering that, it's expected that there's going to be some Sabaton flavor somewhere in this record, and it's there, most evidently in the literal cover of Careless Rex. I think Follow the Cipher does manage to set themselves apart from Sabaton. Musically, it's wonderful. One of my favorite parts is the keyboards, which probably definitely sound quite ridiculous, but at the same time are to be expected in something like power metal. And I mean, I really like power metal, so yeah. However, what really kills it for me is the lead vocals, which kind of sucks. I'm sure Linda Toni Gran is a lovely person, but I just cannot with these vocals. It is borderline unlistenable for me just from that. Because a lot of times it feels like she's trying to bring her voice up to a certain level, but it doesn't feel like she has the vocal range for the level she's trying to reach. Or there are effects like auto-tune on her voice which are distracting and really don't add anything to the listening experience. Overall, the vocals just seem like flat yelling instead of good singing, which yelling is fine in other subgenres of music, but I feel like for this, you need somebody with a better vocal range. I mean, don't get me wrong, her voice is very pretty when it doesn't seem like she's straining her voice trying to get to an out-of-reach octave. Like, the song My Soldier and the cover of Careless Rex are great just for that. And a favorite, if I had to pick off this album, is Starlight, because Ken Kangstrom is doing most of the vocal work on this one. It just sucks because with each new song, you're hit with these epic instrumentals, the guitar's going, the keyboard's just something like that. It's all happening at once, it's very pleasant, almost like sensory overload, but then the vocals hit, and it's just like, Maybe at some point, I can only hope that the vocal delivery can be tightened up, just because I really want to, follow the cipher. Let's only hope. Finally, I want to talk about how great Queen of Time by Amorphous is. Top to bottom, this album is just beautiful. Beautiful, yes. But almost to a fault, too. The beginning of the album is spectacular, all these notes are being hit in the most perfect fashion, the harmonies are stunning, everything is great about it, you just want to wrap yourself in a blanket made out of this music. It's just great. You feel something listening to it. But the thing is, it just keeps going on like that. It's just so spectacular, so beautiful, so warm, that it just starts to lose its effect after a while. Yeah, it's stunning, but halfway through the album, you just don't feel the same as you did in the beginning. Does that make any sense? Queen of Time is a spectacular album, but I just wouldn't recommend listening to it all at once. You want to savor it. Save a little bit of it for dessert every night. Something like that. So that's all of the metal news I want to cover this week. What was the most interesting thing in metal news for you? Share with me on social media, on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, and Mixcloud. I am Lovely Metalhead. Follow me and engage on these platforms, and be sure to share the show with a friend or two. And until next week, next Saturday, the next episode of Lovely Talks Heavy, you stay brutal, my friends. Bye.